Back on the Rivercats pregame show, we're in Sugarland closing out a 6-game series. Zack Bayrouty joined by my regular Sunday guest, Dave Brundage. It's our favorite segment. It's Sunday with Brundy. And Brundy, I thought, first of all, your team has a chance to split this series today. And I thought it was a great bounce back from your club last night after what was, I thought, one of the toughest losses, maybe the toughest loss of the season on Friday with having Sugarland down to the last out. And, a couple of things happened. But I thought a great recovery from your ball club last night.
Yeah, I mean, bouncing back and, having a young man make his AAA debut, thought he was outstanding. McDonald did a great job, set the tone early on. He threw strikes, he pitched inside, and how effective, the success you can have against this ball club. They're a good ball club all the way around. They play good defense, they swing the bats, they've got good pitching, their bullpen's strong. There's a lot of things that they do well, and hence why they won the first half. But yeah, I mean, losing the ball game, always hurts every time when you've got a 2-run lead, 2 outs, nobody on. The at-bat by Hummel, really hurt us in a lot of different ways for the fact that he ends up, probably seeing, 13, 14, 15 pitches, whatever it was, fouling off pitches and driving Warren's pitch limit up. Where he's coming off, a major league rehab and hasn't pitched a whole lot, extended wise, and, kind of drove his pitch count up, and obviously, we didn't get it done. The call went against us at first base, which, wasn't the reason we lost the game. Sure, you can pinpoint and everything like that, but when an umpire misses a call, to end the ball game, it's easy to blame, but at the same time, we made mistakes throughout the game, the walks, allowing them, extra base runners, not making a couple plays along the way. But yeah, I mean, I proud of the ball club the way they came back last night, knowing that we're thin pitching wise, and McDonald pitches into the 6th inning for the first time this year. And, the way Gates went out and obviously got it done for 2 2/3 was really nice to see. I think, from a manager standpoint, standing in that dugout, knowing that we're thin, knowing that we're running out of pitches, knowing that, trying to figure out who's going to be in next. It worked out, and it worked out to a T last night and really kind of saved the bullpen for today.
Yeah, we've touched on him a couple of different times, but can you again touch on what Donovan Walton means to this team, and having to take the ball now 8-9 times this season and go out there, and I talked about it on Friday while it was happening. Not always easy to do. You're trying not to hurt yourself, but at the same time, Donnie's a competitive guy, and he wants to try and give the team whatever chance he can. But what's it mean to have a guy like that on your ball club?
Well, I mean, how valuable has he been so far this year? And I got my message to the guys is like, I tip my cap to him because he's picked us up so many times. He's such a professional, goes about his job, outstanding. Guys get to learn from him the way he goes about the effort, even not playing 3 times a week or playing, a couple times, and he handles it so well. To be able to come in and have a guy that can, as a position player, I've never had that, and sure, we've had position players come in and pitch and throw up zeros, but it's pretty remarkable, actually. I mean, it shows you in the game of baseball how silly it is, and when you break it down that, all these guys can come in and you're throwing 95 miles an hour and everything like that and doing all this, and yet Donnie comes in throwing 67 miles an hour, 62 miles an hour under the hitting speed, and he's throwing strikes, and it's different because a lot of people don't understand, like when you are facing a position player, it's kind of a no-win situation. It's, you're supposed to get a hit, and yet, you haven't practiced against somebody just lobbing the ball in there, and so you want to try, to do things, differently, and the pressure is all on the hitter. You'll hear it all the time. You talk about it, you hear our position players say, geez, we do not want to face a position player, just for the fact that, it's embarrassing if you make an out, and that's all they're thinking about along the way. And he's done a remarkable job. He's picked us up so many times. Where have you ever seen a position player other than like Ohtani or a couple two-way players at the big league level? But, it's been remarkable, and he's been so valuable to what we've done, and picked us up in so many spots where, he was the reason why we, won last night's ball game, one of the reasons. And, it allowed those guys it didn't have to use gates, the night before. It allowed him to be able to go a little extra with the extra day off. And actually everything kind of fell into place. For one reason behind, was because of Donnie Walton giving us 2 innings and extra innings. We lose the ball game, but it certainly didn't embarrass himself.
Joined by River Cats manager Dave Brundage. It's Sunday with Brundy. You go back to the win last night, and much-needed breathing room was supplied by Yadar Encarnacion, who's now riding a 16-game hitting streak. And you might have something there with Encarnacion. He's a big guy, and he's got easy power. And I was talking with Damon Miner a bit after the game last night, and he said they made some adjustments with his hands, so he can maybe get to that slider away that's been giving him problems, traditionally throughout his career. But I've been impressed with the way that Encarnacion's been swinging the bat, and it's been a good presence for you in the middle of that order.
He's been a nice spark for us. Offensively, the numbers speak for itself. The hard hit balls, night after night, where you're seeing balls leave the bat, at 100 miles an hour or better. 3-4 times a night. He's putting up more quality at bats. He's getting more comfortable. I think we didn't see the real him. I think, and obviously we saw the numbers, and I know, elevation and where he came from and coming from Mexico. And, there was some doubt there a little bit, and especially early on, but understanding that, he missed pretty much a month and having to try to get back in the swing of things. He's done a great job. And I think, he's obviously being noticed at the big league level. Obviously, a lot of people in baseball are noticing what he's doing and the hard hit balls, the at bats, playing outfield, putting them at first base, and having not played a lot of first base, but at the same time, he's pretty athletic for a big man. He's a nice target, I know that, over there at first base, because we've seen it on a couple different occasions where he noticeably to your eye. And I know just kind of knocking, Brooksy, not because he's, not real tall, but, there was numerous balls that would have gone to the backstop over to the right side there and, kind of jabbing Brooksy a little bit along the way, and everything like that. And telling him that was good managing, putting, the big fellow over there at first base. So anyhow, he's been fun to watch. He's a good person. He's playing the game the right way. He's swinging the bat. He's doing a lot of things that, making people take notice of him in San Francisco.
Lastly, Skip, it's been an interesting season for Luis Matos. He finds himself back here. He's gone from at times being the National League Player of the Week to being on the shuttle up and down. But what do the Giants really want to see here from Matos for however long his stay is here in Sacramento?
I think, he seems a little off right now, and it's only been a couple games. But at the same time, he was playing sporadically. He's played a day and sitting. These young guys at 22, 23 years old, they're accustomed to playing every day, and sometimes that just can't happen at the big league level. There's a lot of different scenarios. You've got other guys that are swinging the bat. You got other guys that are playing well. I think the main thing here is that, Matos needs at bats and to get him back to being right. And I know, Damon's really done a great job with him and numerous other of these hitters, along the way. No doubt in my mind. Matos, I think eventually here one day will be a more consistent hitter, not the big peaks and valleys like you see from young players. A lot of along the lines. I think once they show you greatness, you start to expect it every day. And from a 22-year-old young man that's kind of going through phases and kind of coming up and down, I think getting him settled here and getting his swing back and getting him, the confidence and understanding, a couple balls hard here and a couple balls hard there. Learning the aspects like we talked about all the time that it's getting embedded into him about playing hard, playing good defense, running the bases well, taking good leads on the bases. There's a lot of little things, and that's our job along the way to make sure. But I think first and foremost, we get him back to swinging the bat and what he's capable of, because we all know that, he's one of the true good young hitters in the game of baseball that eventually will flourish.
Skip, appreciate the time and insight as always. Have a good one tonight. We'll see you on the plane first thing in the morning.
Yeah, early morning. Ooh.
Early flight back to Sac, but a home game and a home week coming up for the River Cats. That's manager Dave Brundage. Will come back and have the starting lineup's first pitch from Sugar Land next on the River Cats Digital Network.